how you doing? It's been a couple of weeks since I did my last video from up in Scotland in the Cairngorms. It's a couple of reasons really, and the main one, here in the UK, it's just been so flipping hot. I think this is the first day now for probably 6 to 8 days where the temperature's been below 30 degrees. It's about 26 now, and I think we got up to 29. I'm hoping that we're going to get some rainstorms. It's just been so hot, and that not only affects sort of me wanting to go out and do any videos, it also affects the wildlife as well. And from my point of view, I don't really want to be, stressing animals out any more than they're already stressed. When they're struggling to find food and water and things like that, the ground is absolutely bone dry, and they are actually predicting that we may get some flash floods when it does rain, because it'll just slide straight off this bone hard ground. But I just thought I'd come out today literally for a couple of hours. As I say, it's cooled off a little bit, and I'm just in my local area. I've actually come through this bit behind me is where my buzzard hide is, which is actually still in there, in a bit of a nettle fest about 5 foot high. So not managed to get to that, but they have harvested some of the fields now, and I've just noticed a few roe deer and hares around. So what I thought I'd do today is just have a scout around here and then make my way up to the quarry probably, just to see if there's anything up there either. It's a bit of an afternoon shoot, this one, so I thought I'd try that again for a bit of a change, because I normally do morning shoots, and just see what happens really, and see what's around. But hopefully, I don't normally hope for rain when I'm out, but I literally am this time, and I don't really mind getting wet, so we'll see how we go. When these fields were covered in wheat, it was really difficult to see any animals and the movements that they were making. But as soon as they've cut this down and you've got access, you can actually see. I'll try and show you on this now, but there's a trail here you can see going into the woods, and it's obviously been used an awful lot over the last 2 or 3 months. While from the pathways you can't see any animals, but clearly something's been going in and out here. I suspect it's probably deer. They've had a regular path from the fields across there and then cut this corner of this field and then into this little wood here. So yeah, it's amazing when you're walking all through that summer and think there's nothing around, there's nothing in that field, and they're literally just hidden. They're still moving around, but you just can't see them. I just thought I'd catch hold of you quickly. Struggled today, and had to give myself a little bit of a telling off, if I'm honest. When I was walking into the quarry, I was walking into things that normally I would see, and I think it's just lack of practice from doing this type of photography for a while. I was sort of walking too quickly, and then I missed one of the hares like that, and then I walked round a bend rather than a corner, where normally I'd have been a lot more cautious and alerted another hare, which normally I'm pretty sure I would have seen first, and managed to get some images. So I was a bit cheesed off with myself. When I came into the quarry, I'd started to do better then. I'd started to get back into my groove and get back to stalking how I normally do. And I saw there was a young roe deer down by one of the gravel pits. So I managed to take these images that I'm showing you now. Now these were shot through undergrowth. Now at that point I had a decision to make. If I'd have climbed up the bank, I could have got a lot better shots than I got just there. However, obviously that would have 99% sure alerted the deer to my presence there, and it would have been gone. And I know from past experience that where that deer was located there, what they tend to do a lot is come out onto the path a little bit further round. So where it is, there's a bank in, and it's absolutely covered with brambles. even a road here wouldn't get through it. So I knew they'd have to come out a little bit further down. So what I did is I set up on the edge of the path, sort of snuck my way around after I'd taken those images and just waited for them to come out. Unfortunately, they didn't, and I think I know the reason why is that the water level in the gravel pit is so low that they can actually walk all the way around it, staying under cover in the trees. But it was worth a try, you know, and as I say, normally when there's enough water in there, they'll come out onto the path side there, but they just didn't come round. I gave it about 25 minutes and they didn't reappear. So I think there'd be a youngster there, and there may have been 2 youngsters and an adult. That's what I've seen around recently. So, but I was pleased with the fact that I got that shot, and yeah, it's just luck of the draw. You know, you have to take a chance, and on this occasion it didn't pay off 100%. But I know my reasoning is right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make my way back where I've come. I don't want to walk around this part of the gravel pit, although there might be something up there. The problem is my scent will just go straight across the gravel pit then. So I think by going back, tracing my steps the way I've come, I actually might bump into something on the back side as well. So that's what I'm going to do. I've really enjoyed it so far today. It's just been nice to get out in some reasonably cooler weather and just to do a little bit of wildlife photography, to be honest. It's just nice to be out. There are a lot of dragonflies up here, and one of my intentions was to come up here and do a macro video, but again, it's been so hot that what I generally do if I'm trying to get pictures of dragonflies or damselflies, I'll come out early in the morning when it's cooler and they're less active. The trouble is, sun's come up at sort of 5 o'clock and it's been 20 degrees. So these things have already been, you know, flying around and extremely active. So I'm hoping if it cools down a little bit more and we get a little bit dew around on the reeds and things, it might slow them down a bit, and I might be able to come up and do a macro video as well. So we'll just see how we go. It does look like it's blowing some weather in at the minute, so I'm just hoping that it don't pass us by. Anyway, I'm going to make my way back round the quarry, see if I can see anything else, and if I do, I'll stick it up in a bit. Right, I'm going to call it a day for today now. Really enjoyed it. It's just been nice to be out, actually, for not being out for such a long time. As I said earlier, I had to remind myself how much concentration you need for stalking wildlife, and I was a little bit slap happy when I started and walking into things. I was just, I think, too happy to be out taking images again and just rushing. I had to just continually tell myself to slow down, which I did get back into it towards the end. Another thing I've found out, horse flies sap your concentration as well. Horse and deer flies, you know, the metallic eyed things. If you get one of them locks onto you, they just follow you all the way around, and I had one. It didn't leave me alone until I went under a load of, there was about 7 or 8 dragonflies flying above me, and that seemed to put it off following me. But yeah, they do lock onto you, and again, you know, you can't concentrate 100% when you've got one of those following you, because they do bite and it does hurt when they bite you. But yeah, have to redouble your efforts to concentrate. And the other thing is, after 2 or 3 hours of this, it's like doing a 6 or 7 hour drive. You really start to lose your concentration, and again, that's when you generally bump into something and miss a shot. So as the day goes on, you have to really work at just saying to yourself, yeah, must concentrate, slow down, even slower if you have to. But towards the end, when I was coming back, I did start to get back into it, and I saw this pair of ears in the field laid down in the stubble, So I knew I'd got a hare out there, and I was literally took my bag off and I was thinking, well, this is going to be painful. Crawling across this stubble on bone hard ground that's got 2-inch chasms in it every now and again where it's just split. And I just happened to look to my left, and there was a female roe deer walking across the track about 150 metres ahead. I knew she was going into the quarry, and I suspect, you know, I said earlier that I'd seen some down in the little wood where I started. I think they've come across into this maze and they were just making their way across into the quarry. So I quickly abandoned the hare and made my way down towards the deer. Managed to get a few shots of her and of one of the youngsters, but I'm pretty sure there's another one. And what makes me sure of that is when she'd seen me, she ran 10 yards and then stopped, even though she'd got the youngster with us. And then she was just sort of looking at me as if to say, well, leave me alone. So I've quickly retreated back up here because I think the other youngster might still be in the maze and is just waiting to make its way across. So hopefully that's not caused too much disruption. As I say, she didn't run off. She just stayed where she were and I retreated. So I'm sure she'll just wait for it to come across to her, and I'm going to find a different way back so that I don't disturb them. If I see anything else on the way back, obviously I'll try and get some images for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed being out after not being out for such a long time. And yeah, it was just nice to get out and do some wildlife photography. So anybody else who's itching to get out, now the temperature's dropped, I'm sure you'll thoroughly enjoy it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, I'll see you soon for another one. Bye.